and welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Sean. I'm back for another video, and welcome back to another review for Insecure Season 4, Episode 4. If you like commentary like this, if you like fashion-related posts, dating advice, lifestyle content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You will definitely enjoy your time here. And if you're already a subscriber, hit that little bell. That way you'll be notified every single time I upload a video. So this week's episode was definitely a bit more tame, especially considering everything that happened last week with all of the blow-ups and all of the little shade that was thrown back and forth. There was still shade this week. However, it wasn't as dramatic, but we're going to jump right into it. So the show actually opens up with Issa. Issa's at home and she is on her computer and she's, posting her flyer about like Schoolboy Q, letting everybody know, and people are giving her an immediate response to that, letting her know they're really excited about that. And of course, that makes Issa feel good because everything is slowly but surely starting to come into place, and her dream of having this block party is finally beginning to come to fruition. Then there's a knock at the door, and it is Issa's tenants. They're all complaining that the water's cut off. You have Trina's son, the dude who claims he doesn't have a dog, but he actually does. And, Issa's like, oh man, was that today? And everybody's like, you got to do something about this. Issa can only focus on this block party, and everything's starting to suffer. Her job here, her relationship with Molly. So then Molly and Andrew have a date night planned, but Molly is so busy working that she doesn't even realize that it's already time for him to arrive. She just knock at the door. She's still got curlers in her hair and everything. And she goes to the door, she greets him, and she's like, look, I'm really working on this project right now. If you could just give me a little time. He goes into the bedroom, lays down for a little bit. She says she'd be done by 9, looks at her phone later, and it is like 1:52. So when she realizes how late it is, she goes and they pick up where they left off, and he seems fine with it. But later on in the episode, we can see how Andrew really feels about Molly and her work schedule and kind of making time for him. Molly and Issa both struggle with their work-life balance. They have to learn to be able to give everything and everyone in their lives time and space, and that's a big reason with why they're struggling. So Issa gets a call from the printers about the flyers for the block party, and they're looking for final edits, and so Issa's like, I'm going to try to get that over to you as soon as possible. And then she goes to her phone and you can see like a text message thread between her and Condola, and it looks like our girl Condola has been leaving Issa on red and hasn't let her know what's going on. Issa's been texting her back and forth, no reply from Condola, and Issa has no idea what's been going on. This is going to be important for a little bit later. So next up, we're at Molly's job, and it's late at night, and Molly's actually smiling at her job because she's getting along with her coworkers. I don't know what happened. I don't know if Torian went and sort of, told everybody Molly's cool again or what, but now all of a sudden, ever since she apologized to Torian, now all of a sudden her good black girl friends are friends with her again, and they're laughing and cackling and talking about guys, and this one's talking about her kids are eating pie crust. Like, it's just fun to see Molly finally having a good time at work. This shows some growth from Molly. I know we've been being really, really hard on Molly, but there are instances throughout this season where I actually can see some growth in Molly. Molly being mature enough to apologize to Torian and try to make peace with her coworkers is a sign of maturity. I gotta give it to her. So they were already staying late, but it looks like they have to stay even later because they're still not even halfway done with the work they have to do. And the one girl has to leave because she has kids, but the other one was like, you know what, I'll stay, that's fine. And then Molly says, I'll stay too. And they were like, don't you have plans with Andrew? And she's like, you know what, no, he'll understand. I'll stay late, no problem. She texts him, he says it's fine. So Tiffany and Derek finally have their baby, and Issa arrives first. She sees a spot that she's about to parallel park her car into, and Molly pulls up and tries to take the spot. I really like how they did this on the show. It literally shows you how off they've been, how they can't seem to be in sync to save their lives. They're both getting agitated and frustrated with each other, and they're both being nice, nasty, and acting like it's okay when they both know that it's not. Whether it's the spot or their relationship, they're both trying to pretend that it's okay, and it's not. So when Issa's walking down the street on her way to Tiffany and Derek's house, she gets a voice message alert, and it's a voice message from Nathan. Nathan told her that, he found out from Andrew that she's got this block party, that he's really proud of her, that she doesn't have to call him back. But, he's like, go on, girl, do your thing. And she kind of smiles at it. I hope that he comes back. So Lawrence and Derek are upstairs, and they're gushing over baby Simone. She is absolutely gorgeous. What a cutie pie little baby. But anyway, so, Lawrence is asking him how his fatherhood changed him. Is he ready for all of this? And Derek tells him that, honestly, he wasn't. That he and Tiffany had planned to hold off having children for at least 2 years. They're supposed to travel and buy a house first and all of that. But, she got pregnant unexpectedly. Now, this just feeds into the whole idea that Derek is not the father. If you guys know what I'm talking about, when Derek talked about how he chased one of Tiffany's coworkers away, I don't know if they're like setting up for that storyline or if they're just messing with us, but yeah, so that kind of definitely made my spidey senses was tingling. Okay, how about yours? So Tiffany is downstairs with the girls and pretty much doing the same thing. They're asking what's her thoughts on being a new mom, and she says she's already over her mommy friends. She has on a MILF necklace and Simone's name already on her neck. So yeah, Tiffany, and I think she's drinking wine and breastfeeding at the same time, and you gonna have to pump and dump that. But anyway, Tiffany is telling the girls how amazing Derek has been with like being there for Simone, and you can hear her crying on the baby monitor, and Tiffany's like, Derek's got it, and just really gushing about her husband has really been there for her, and how she almost died because the doctors weren't taking her pain seriously. It's sad that Black women are out here dying because doctors are ignoring their pain, and I'm really glad that Insecure actually used their platform to sort of talk about this. Serena Williams has been very vocal about it, but it's really important that we listen to Black women, okay? And so Molly chimes in about how she too knows what a good man is like because she has Andrew, and Issa sort of makes a snide remark and the ladies laugh about it, and Issa's like, it's just a joke, like I was just joking around. I think the big problem with Molly and Issa is that they don't prioritize what the other of them has prioritized. Molly has been trying to tell Issa, this is different. Andrew is different. I'm different. And Issa keeps judging Molly based on old Molly. And when you do that, you don't allow your friend to grow. You don't allow your partner to grow. When you keep bringing up their past, when you keep expecting them to make the same mistakes, you're not allowing for growth. And Molly's doing the same thing with Issa. Yes, Issa may have made some mistakes in the past, but she's serious about this block party. And Molly has never shown a lot of genuine interest in it. And I think I think that's the real reason why they're mad at each other, because they're like, this is important to me, don't you get it? And the other person is like, this relationship, this little block party, they're hearing each other, but they're not listening, and that's the problem. So when Issa gets a chance to talk to Kelli alone, she tells Kelli, have you noticed that Molly's been acting different? She's been coming at my neck lately, acting like I'm the messiest person on the planet, like her life is perfect. And Kelly's like, I haven't noticed that, but, maybe you should talk to her. At the same time, upstairs, Molly is talking to Tiffany. So Tiffany tells Molly that she and Andrew are going to make some beautiful babies. And Molly is like, you know what? I'm just taking things slow, letting things develop on their own, just having a good time. And, it's just trying to mess things up. And then Tiffany says, whatever makes you happy. And that makes Molly remember that Issa said, sometimes I think you don't want to be happy. Molly's like, did Issa talk to you? And she was like, no. And she was like, we actually got this thing about acting like I don't want to be happy. And then she also says, Issa has to realize that she's not the only one with a life and the only one who has like problems and situations. And when this all blows up, she's going to come to me. She's like, she's the one out here making her life messy and complicated. And she looks out the window, and sure enough, Issa and Lawrence are out there talking. But it's a lot of assumptions on Molly's part. Yes, it's going to get messy, but Issa really has been so far trying to avoid messiness at all costs. For the most part, besides those 3 dots, which we still don't even know what those 3 dots even mean from last week, because they didn't even say anything about it this week. All I know is every time they see each other, they're getting more and more familiar. So Lawrence and Issa are talking, and, Lawrence is telling her, it's good to see you. How you been? And she's like, I've been doing really good. And then she brings up that she's been trying to reach Condola, but she hasn't been. And Lawrence is like, yeah, about that. And he gets ready to try to tell her, but then her phone rings, and it is, I guess, the representative or manager for Schoolboy Q dropping out as, from being the headliner for her block party. And that's huge. And Issa's like, visibly upset. And he's like, is everything okay? And she's like, it's fine. And he's like, well, we can talk about what we have to talk about later. And she's like, well, I'm happy to do the rain check. And then she kind of leaves. But, he doesn't get a chance to tell her about what's going on with Condola. So because Condola isn't answering Issa's calls and basically just went MIA on her in the middle of planning this block party about a month away from the block party, Issa is forced to go through her little Rolodex and her call list and try to find some talent for this block party. So, at least from the way this episode looks, Condola abandoned the block party and the relationship that she was trying to build with Issa. So Molly and Andrew are out to dinner, having a very lovely time. They be having some nice dates. I'm not gonna lie. I like the quality of their dates. But anyway, they're having dinner, they're having a good time, and Molly's like, after this, we can do that. And then Andrew's like, actually, I made plans with my boys. And Molly's like, what? Plans with your boys? And he's like, yeah, you've been kind of canceling on me and all of that. So I kind of made some plans. He's supposed to be playing poker with his friend. And of course, Molly looks upset. You can't expect somebody to always just, be there for whatever scrap you want to throw at them. You know what I'm saying? Just taking the crumbs from your table. All right. This man wants quality time. People want to see you prioritize them. That's how you show people that they're important and that your time that you spend with them is important to you. And that's all he was asking for, and he wasn't asking for too much. So Molly is at work the next day, and she gets a call, and it's from Issa, and Issa's like, girl, we need to talk. And Molly looks instantly relieved. I think for a second there she thought she had her old friend back. And so she's like, yeah, girl, this has been going on and that's been going on. She starts to unload on Issa, and Issa starts to tune her out the same way that she did when they were on top of Runyon Canyon and Issa was talking about TSA Bay. She starts to tune her out, but Issa cuts her off in the middle. My husband said he was trying to get her wine off. She was in the middle trying to get her wine off, and she cuts her off and is like, yeah, anyway, I need a favor. And she's like, I know that Andrew works for, I think, Live Nation or whatever. And she was like, I could really use his help with this musical artist. Could you please just talk to him? And Molly is kind of like, a little hesitant to do it. And Issa's like, well, I really need your help. Could you do it? So Molly agrees to do it. So Molly goes over to see Andrew, and he gives her a warm welcome, and they talk about their feelings. They've really grown as a couple, from like last season with Molly playing hard to get and her having to humble herself and really give him a try because he is a good guy. I really do like what I see in their relationship and what's developing. But anyway, they're having a good time together, and Molly doesn't bring it up, but she does head over to the bathroom and she calls Issa, and she tells Issa, look, I didn't talk to Andrew about it, and I'm actually not going to. And Issa's like, what? And she's like, and I really have something good going with him, and I really don't want to sort of add that element to it, like basically asking him for favors and do this for my homegirl for me and all that. She really doesn't want to put any strain on their relationship. And I can understand that. But from the look on Issa's face, she didn't, and she doesn't. Another thing that I notice about Molly and Issa's relationship is that they're not supporting each other in the ways that the other wants or needs support. Issa likes support when people are pitching in and they're being a part of it. Like when she had that mixer at the beginning, the very first episode of the season, Amal was the DJ. She had Kelli on drinks. Tiffany has been helping to get her the alcohol wholesale. Everybody who's her friend has been pitching in. Molly hasn't done anything. And the one time she reaches out to Molly for quote unquote support, Molly doesn't want to help her. The same thing could be said for how Issa has been with regard to supporting Molly. Molly likes support when you listen to her, when she can vent to you about her relationship. She's able to do that with Tiffany, able to do that with Kelli. But when she tries to do it with Issa, Issa makes jokes about it. Issa doesn't take it seriously. Issa doesn't see that her friend is trying to be different, that she's trying to grow. They're not supporting each other in the ways in which the other wants support. That, coupled with their lack of communication and their judging each other based on their past, that's why the relationship is failing. So anyway, that is it for this week's episode. I would have loved to see Condola. I would have loved to see, sometimes with this show, because they have such a limited time, they only have 10 episodes, they just cut out scenes that I wish I could have seen more of. What was Lawrence's response to Condola when she said, if Issa hadn't cheated, would you have left? What were the 3 dots about with Issa? What did she say to Lawrence? I feel like sometimes they give you these cliffhangers, but they don't deliver those are the scenes we want to see. And my main question for this episode is, would you ask a guy in a new relationship for a favor for your homegirl, because that's essentially what Issa is doing. And I feel like it's a big ask for Issa to expect that. And now that Molly is getting along better with her work colleagues and they're becoming more like work friends, is Molly looking for a replacement for Issa? Because it seems like, I don't know. Are they holding each other back? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it if you think this relationship can be salvaged. But I will say this, whether it's a romantic relationship or a platonic one, you really have to know somebody's love language. And I feel like they're not communicating with each other in the proper love language, and that's why it's not working. You can't use what works on you with somebody else. They have to support each other in the ways in which that friend wants and needs support. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Till next time, later divas and dudes. Deuces, honey.